everyone and welcome to Chibi Reading. I am Chi and today I am going to be talking about all of the books that I DNF'd in 2025 or wish I DNF'd. These would have been in my worst books of 2025, but I didn't have a superlative for them. They were just bad. If you haven't watched my best and worst books of 2025, I do superlative. I have a category for most freaked out main character, most unusual world building, things of that nature. So that's how I did my best and worst. These ones were just bad. So they didn't fit into any category or I didn't finish them, and I don't rate books I didn't finish. I don't review books I didn't finish. I will tell you about them, but it doesn't count as a review. I'm just talking my mess. Okay, let's get started. Let's start with Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. This book was my conscious uncoupling from the Ali Hazelwood industrial book publishing industry. I've read a lot of Ali Hazelwood books, so I think I can say that her books are no longer for me. I did like The Love Hypothesis. I did think that was a good romance book. I enjoyed it. I read a lot of other books. So I read all of her novellas and I read 2 other full-length books. I haven't read any of her young adult books, but this one solidified. So this follows a girl. She is a biochemist, specifically working in food sciences, and she works for one of her friends' companies, right? The company is doing okay, but it's not doing great, but she doesn't think it's in any danger. She also doesn't do relationships. She does one-night stands. She gets on this one-night stand app. She meets this man here, our main character. His name is Eli and her name is Rue. She meets Eli, but she gets into some trouble at their meeting place. Eli has to drive her home, take her home, make sure that she gets home safe, and they do not have their one-night stand. So she thinks that's the end, even though she felt a great chemistry with him. I think they may have shared some lip lock-in and it was really good or something, but they didn't end up completing their one-night stand. Completing their one-night stand is crazy verbiage. Anyways, so she thinks that's the end of it because she also doesn't do second dates. She doesn't do multiple one-night stands. She doesn't like that. So she thinks that's the end of it. She tells her best friend about it, but she's just like, okay, it's dead, it's dead. She goes to work the next day and she hears from the CEO of her company, who is also a good friend, that people are going to audit her. And she's like, hold up, that sounds real scary, auditing. And basically they're looking for a reason to close them down. And Eli is one of the people who come to audit them. So that puts them on opposite sides of this company. She obviously works there. Her best friend, the CEO, she wants it to do good. Eli is kind of shutting them down from her perspective. And then she gets to learn about the company and why they're being audited and Eli's background in sciences and how her background or her foreground in sciences and things of that nature. And somehow through it, they fall in love, but they don't. I read this full book, so I can give a review of it. I don't know why I continued all the way through. You know, I know why I continued all the way through. The romance in this, abysmal, 1 star. What? We are just calling anything a romance. You know, 2 people can have sexual chemistry and have lust without calling it a romance. It could just be what it is. It could just be what it is, but no, it has to be a romance. This was not a romance. These people had no chemistry. They had things in common, but you have things in common with your friends, with all kinds of people in your life, with your coworkers. They did not have chemistry. They did not fall in love on page. It seemed like they fell in love off page, and then the next chapter they would be more in love, and the author would be like, the feelings are stronger, and you'd be like, okay, how? Show it to me. Let me see how. Like, what is the manifestations of these stronger feelings? I'd be like, no. Just know the feelings are stronger. And then sexual chemistry. That's literally all it was. I'm like, smut for the sake of smut is my least favorite thing in any book. In romance especially, because it is so many times used in place of actual chemistry, used in place of actual markers of a growing romance, actual yearning, actual romantic chemistry, something that will make the reader on their own feel that these characters are falling in love, as opposed to the author being like, now that their feelings are stronger, and you're like, how? Why? What made them? What? When did that happen? That's with this book. I don't think I'm reading another Ali Hazelwood book. This one solidified it. It was so bad. It was so bad. The only thing that saved this book, and I think I gave it 2 stars, I'm pretty sure I gave it 2 stars, was the plot outside of the romance. So everything that was going on with the company that she worked for, the company that he works for, and how they're at odds, the history of it was very interesting. It was very interesting. I really liked it. I really enjoyed that part. Every time the 2 characters were on screen together though, and trying to be all up in each other, I was like, what is this part of the book? I did not like it. But everything outside of that, pretty good. I enjoyed that. So yeah, 1 star, 1.5 stars. I might round it up to 2, but I won't. This one's a DNF, and I want to get this one quickly because I love this author, and Ray Better will forever be one of my favorite young adult books of all time. I could not get through Redemptor. There was literally, and I think this might have been a time and a place type thing. This was one of the first books I read last February, and I picked it up. I would read it. I would put it down. I would start another book. I would complete that other book. Pick this up, read a chapter, start another book, complete that other book, and this happened the entire year of 2025. I would pick this up. I am pretty far through this. I took out my bookmark, but I was past halfway, and that's literally because of sheer picking this up, reading 1 chapter, being tired of it or just not being enthralled by it and picking up another book. There is nothing wrong with this book. If you read Raybearer, it's a really great book. It's about this girl who is sent off to a palace to train to be one of the prince's right-hand people. This prince has this family of magical beings or not magical beings. She has this family of people who they are able to share a psychic connection, and that allows the prince or the Raybearer at the center to be stronger, and she wants to be one of those people. And her mother sends her off, and she learns a lot about the history of the Raybearers in this time, the magic and how that works, who her mother is, and who is moving the pieces, and who is being sacrificed because of how those pieces are moving. Raybearer is so good. That was a horrible synopsis, but Raybearer is so good. This book is not bad. We're more set in stone, in place, based on the ending of the book. We kind of everyone has their roles, and we know what the end goal is, but it's so teasing. It's like, this is gonna happen at the end. Y'all wait for it. This is coming. This is penultimate point that they start teasing from the beginning, and then all these other things that are happening that may push this thing farther, may pull it closer, make it more dangerous, make it something that they might not want to do. And it's like, I just want something to sink my teeth in, and I just didn't get it. And by November or October, I'm just like, I'm not picking this book up again just to read another chapter and complete another book. And I know there is somebody who wants the hardcover copy of Redemptor right next to Raybearer, and they would just suit having this book so much more than it just staying in my currently reading shelf for a whole nother year. So all I say, I will be reading any other books that Jordan Ifueko puts out because I love her writing style. And even though this sequel was not for me, Raybearer is still one of my favorite young adult books of all time, and her writing is still one of my favorite of all time. So that's that. Another one that I did finish, why? Who knows? But If Only You by Chloe Lies, I think is how you pronounce it. This is a Bergman Brothers book. It's a series that goes through all of the Bergman brothers. They are a family. They're just a family of a lot of brothers. I think there's 7 brothers and there's 1 sister. Her name is Iggy. This is the sister, and she is introduced in other books just kind of on the side. She's introduced in the first book by Chloe Lies that I read, which is Maybe 2 Can Play That Game. It's one with the hockey player and his manager. A female lead in this book is introduced because the manager is on the autism spectrum, and so is Iggy, or Iggy kind of finds out that she may be, and the manager helps her navigate certain things like her overstimulation around certain clothes, the reason she feels alienated by her family, and how to navigate certain social situations and things like that. So she becomes somewhat of a casual mentor to Iggy and allows Iggy to start blooming out of her shell, and you see that in subsequent books. So this is finally her romance book. I don't know how I finished this book. I hated it so much. I did not like it at all. I think Iggy is a completely different character than she was in the other books, which is completely fine. But also, I did not really enjoy it. It was kind of cringe. Chloe Lies' writing is cringe, but I don't want to use the word cringe. It's corny. It's corny. Yeah, her writing is very corny. It's very much the type of writing that I think needs like a background track so you know how to feel. You know, movies where they have a laugh track, so you'd be like, oh, so you know, whoa, okay, that was supposed to be funny, haha, like, okay, or aw, like that was supposed to be sweet. That's how obviously intentional and corny her writing is. So it's more about the writing style that I could not even focus, honestly, on the 2 main characters and what was going on with them. I read the book, which is with the hockey player and the manager, and I liked that one good enough. I think I gave it 3.5 stars, if not 3 stars. So I like that good enough, and she has a lot of books. So I'm like, let me see if I enjoy the other books just as much. I didn't. And as I read the books, I gave them lower and lower scores before I landed on 2. I think that book, I'm pretty sure that book I gave a 3.5. The next book I gave a 2.5, and the next book I gave another 2.5, and this one I'm going to have to give a 1.5. It was just not good. Chloe's writing style has not evolved in a good way. It has not changed. It's not growing. It's very much impossible to read without having to like look away from the page and be like, okay, I gotta somehow engross myself back in the story, even though the writing is taking me out of it. I will not be reading any more of her books. Woo. These next 2 ones are just DNFs. So this one is called Sword Crossed by Freya Marks. This one I'm also halfway, if not more. Wait, yeah, literally more than halfway. Why? I would put this down. I got this book. I have this book physically. Then I got it on my Kobo. So I had it digitally, and then I put it on my phone. So I would always have it because I'm like, I've been reading this book for months, and I have nothing invested in finishing this book because this is the first book, or as a standalone, like I did Redemptor. So that's why I kept on picking up Redemptor over and over again, even though I was just not feeling it. But this one, I'm just like, there's no reason for me to keep picking it up. So I read another book, pick it up, and just feel less and less inclined to keep reading till I realized I don't care. I don't care about any of these characters. None of them have stuck with me. None of them have stamped their way in my mind. You know, when you're in the middle of reading a book and you'll just be randomly going about your day, and then you'll be like, I wonder what's going on with this character. And that's when you just have the urge to continue reading because you need to know what's going on. Like, this character's life has been living in your mind, or this plot has been living in this mind. I forgot. Every time I close, immediately after closing the pages of the book, I forgot everything. So this book is about Jay is this character here. So Jay's family owns a fabric conglomerate in this world. They are in trouble of bankruptcy. They're in trouble of closing. They're in financial trouble. So in order to try to lift them out of financial trouble, Maddie decides to have a political marriage. Not really a political marriage, but a marriage for a financial game. Whatever it is, it's not for love. So he is engaged, betrothed to this girl. The thing about this girl is she has another man that has been vying for her attention the entire time anyone in the city has known this girl. So he needs a best man. And in this world, the best man is not someone that just stands next to the groom when they're getting married. They are also the person who will fight if someone challenges the marriage. So Maddie assumes that her suitor is going to challenge the marriage, and he doesn't fight, he can't fight, he needs to hire a best man, and the best man will do the fighting. The thing is, his family is in a lot of financial trouble, a lot of financial woes. He ain't got no money. All he can afford is Luca. Luca is new in town. He doesn't have a background, doesn't have a story. He just needs money, so he's very, very cheap. And Maddie finds out that Luca is actually a really good swordsman, and they start also taking swords classes together because Maddie's just like, I need something to do. I want to get to know my swordsman. And then they start to unravel a potential conspiracy or potential histories around Maddie's family, as well as around who Luca is and why he's in the city randomly. I just did not care. Once it got to the part where, like, okay, there's now a mystery afoot. There's something nefarious going on, and these two characters might start to find it, might start to look into it, and they're also starting to fall in love again. I'm not believing the romance. It's just proximity. It's not really feeling like anything. They're not talking about anything substantial. They're just giving whiffs, like, you know, just little witty one-liners, and then talking about how attractive each other is, which, you know, maybe it is romance and maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Maybe that is what makes a romance book, and I am just looking for too much. But I don't think I'm looking for too much, because there has been romance books that I've liked. So I retract all of that I just said. I'm not looking for too much. Authors need to do more. And the reason I even have this book is I would never buy a book with a name so corny and with this cartoon cover. I really hate this cover. I don't like this cover at all. Swordcross is a very corny name to me. But Freya Marks is the author of A Marvelous Light, which is one of my favorite books of last year. It's an amazing, great fantasy, magical world building book. Absolutely love that book. So I was just like, okay, let me try her other books. This is another book by her. And, you know, a lot of the times the author of your favorite book will not become your favorite author, and that's one of these moments. I really liked A Marvelous Light. It seems like a completely different author. The way she's writing the characters, the way the plot is progressing, the pacing of this book is also ridiculously slow. They set up the wedding and the need for the best man, page 1, chapter 1, and they set up the failing fabric conglomerate, chapter 1, and then we're just getting nothing of that. We're only getting just the jousting between these two characters and how just that's it for most of this book until maybe the chapter right before where I stopped. I'm like, the pacing is so weird. It's not making sense. I didn't finish this book. This next book has honestly nothing wrong with it. It may be a time and a place type thing. I just know 4 years ago, A Broken Blade, the Halfling Saga by Melissa Blue. Her name is covered by this annoying sticker that, thank God I don't shop at Target anymore, because this Blade by Melissa, and this book has nothing wrong with it. 4 years ago, I would have devoured this book up. This is another book that I got so far into. I think I only had 1/3, but I had no desire to continue. So it's about a girl. She's a halfling, and she's also the king's sword. So the king of this land has exterminated all the halflings. Like, he has committed a ethnic cleansing of the halfling, and she's one of the last ones, and she is his sword. So she's a great swords person, and whenever the king needs someone assassinated, the king sends her. She's also a halfling. So she basically has been complicit, not only complicit, but actively pursuing her people and annihilating them. So she's part of the ethnic cleansing of her own people. So there is this rebel group, this vigilante group that is trying to save the halflings, who is just working directly against the king and wants to end the king's reign. So does, what's her name? Kira also wants to end the king's reign, but she is also his hired killer. So she cannot work both sides. She ends up falling prey to this group and sees whether or not there's anything she can do to try and end the king's hold on her as well as end the king's cleansing of her people while working with this group that does not trust her at all. I should have ate this up. The characters were really good, very nuanced. I honestly, now that I'm even thinking about it, I might pick this back up. No, I won't. No, I won't. The characters were great. The story was great. The history, the building, the world building was really good. The conflict of the characters was just very well made. I think there's a lot of sympathizing when it comes to, in fantasy books, when it comes to when foes are met with each other. There's just a lot of that. These people, it's really on sight. It's on sight. They hate each other. Like, this girl is a hired killer and she's treated like that. She's treated like a common criminal. She's treated like someone who is being paid to exterminate her people. So she's not being welcomed into her some of their safe havens. She's not being welcomed by this vigilante group. She still has to play both sides, and how she moves both sides to kind of quell the king's suspicion of her as well as try to move forward the objective of her and the rebel groups. It makes so much sense and it's so suspenseful. I don't know what about this book was not meshing with me, honestly. This one, all of the other ones I'm going to unhaul immediately. This one I might keep. I truly feel like everything about this book was something that I should eat up. There was just, when I put it down, for the last time I put it down, I had no desire to pick it back up, and that to me is just makes everything not a reason to pick anything back up. I'm always craving the books I'm reading. I'm always thinking about them. I'm always, when I have idle time, I'm always, let me ingest more of this book, but none of that was happening with this book. So that's why I DNF'd this one last year. You may see this one this year, or you may not, who knows? But those were all the books that I either DNF'd or I should have DNF'd. I think I learned a lot about myself. I think I am finally releasing myself from, romance. Don't know why I say it like that. From romance authors of tried and true. I felt like I had, releasing myself from, Ali Hazelwood's stronghold on the romance genre and stronghold over me investing in the romance genre. Oh, there's another one. The worst for last. I am on this Facebook group that I still check, and it is just about, I think, indie authors, or just, it's indie authors talking about it's Black indie authors talking about their favorite books. And there's this girl who posted Black Girls Must Die Exhausted recently, and she was like, has anyone read this book? How do you like it? And I expected people to go in. I expected people to be like, what was this book? It's absolutely abysmal. I could not get through it. People love this book. People love this book. And I'm not gonna bash Jane Allen, because why would I ever do that to a Black author? But this book was so not for me in the worst way. We follow a girl who is 30 years old. First of all, off tops. I hate reading about fertility issues. That is one. I told this to my friends and they were just like, that's very specific, is it? I hate reading about women with fertility issues. I do not know why. I don't want to read about a woman having fertility issues, about her having trouble getting pregnant, about her all her life wanting to be a mother and now that might be in jeopardy. I think those stories are important and definitely need to be written. I will not be reading any of them. I do think they still need to be written. I do think there is an audience for them. They are just not me. That's that. But this book for years was just staring into my face at Target, because I've had this book also since it came out, or not since it came out, but since I've had this book since about 3 years after it came out, because it's always on high display, because it's an Oprah or it's a diverse book club pick, whatever that means. I don't know. It's always on display. So I was like, finally, let me just get it years ago. And it just sat until I was like, you have to read it or you're gonna DNF it, or you should unhaul it. And I wish I would have unhauled it. This book is about, the main character is 30 and living in LA. I'm gonna stop right there and talk about, I love the author's depiction of Los Angeles. I feel like in books, people focus on influencers moving here, Hollywood, very much superficial, but there's such a subculture, not even a subculture, but LA has such a big Black population, so much culture, so much Black culture, so much Black history is embedded in so many parts of Los Angeles. I have never lived in a predominantly rich, predominantly white, predominantly non-people of color area in Los Angeles. So many of the hubs that build the culture of this city are Black, are for people of color, and that's never depicted in books. I think Jane Allen does an amazing job of that. So the main character, she's 30. She goes to the gynecologist and finds out that she does not have the amount of eggs that she should have at her age, and that sends her on a downward spiral. She's also having issues with this white man at her job taking all of her ideas or taking all the slots for the for news breaks that she wants. She's a journalist and she's a writer. All that white man is always taking the things that she wants to write about and kind of whitewashing them or making them superficial. She wants to talk about how SoFi Stadium displaced a lot of black communities and a lot of black people who have been here for generations, and he just wants to talk about Rams footballs in LA. He loves that. So things of that nature. And she's also dealing with friendship issues, and then she has a man, and she thinks that since she found out that she has less eggs than she's supposed to have at 30, she wants to kind of rush the baby. She's like, I need to rush the baby. And that's the setup, the premise, and she just makes stupid decisions that I don't care about. There's a friend group in here. They all hate each other. I hate that dynamic in books. I don't know why all books feel like all women fan groups hate each other. They're always catty. They always want each other to fail. They hate each other's marriages. They think everyone's fake. It's just really weird. She makes some decisions about how she wants to handle her fertility issues with her man who she's been dating for like 4 weeks. I'm like, you're not acting like you're 30 years old. And then she's also she's biracial. She is biracial. Her father is half white, so she is a quarter white, and she has this white grandma who plays a big role in the book for whatever reason. And there's just this monologue this white grandma goes about raising a half black son that I feel like this is dumb. There's nothing else I can say. It was just unnecessary. It was really, who are you writing this for? It did not say anything profound. It was reading it, I felt like I lost brain cells. She just went on a monologue on how she didn't know how to be black, and it's just like, why would you? You're a white grandma and your son is black. Whatever he does is black because I ain't gonna get into no more. This book I was not the target audience. I was not the target audience. Can I tell you who the target audience was? No, I don't think it exists. Maybe white grandmas with half black sons. That could be it. And that is not me. Now, those are all the books I DNF'd or wish I DNF'd this year. There wasn't a lot, honestly, and I think I'm getting more comfortable with DNFing liberally, because if I keep reading a book that I want to put down, it'll keep me from reading books that I actually want to read, and then I'll go into reading slump. So DNF liberally, give your books away, give your books away if you don't want them, and read stuff that you do want, because there's no time to be reading about any of the stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, what should you put in? Let's see what old girl got. Put a pink flower. I hope there's a pink flower emoji, but yeah, feel free to put a pink flower emoji, and let me know if you've read any of these books and you actually like them, what you think of them. If you like any of these books, literally no tea, no shade to you. You are the target audience. I was just not the target audience. Just like my favorite books, I will be the target audience and you might not be. So we can all coexist here at Chibi Reading. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, week, year, and I'll talk to y'all later.